I learnt this move in about 10 minutes, almost by mistake. Fortunately, I documented the whole process, so if you want to learn to float, here's what I did. I didn't know I was going to unlock a new cool move, so you'll forgive me for filming in low res. This was just for me to check out my form afterwards. But only a few days from the clip you saw before, I was busy working on my program when I spotted some cheeky P-bars at the corner of my gym. Just slides off. Initially, I tried with one P-bar and digging both of my elbows into my torso to enable me to float. But as you can see, I was having a lot of trouble and it looks much more like I'm constipated. My elbows kept sliding either side of me and my wrists felt like they were going to snap off. I got the other pair and attempted to push my elbow into my torso, and to my surprise, I could balance ever so slightly. I filmed the next 10 minutes to watch how my elbow lever evolved, precisely because I felt the videos and looking back at them really helped me to know the position that I was in. I felt like I was completely straight here, believe it or not. That's why videoing is so important. As I was just starting out to feel comfortable in this position, I was just focusing on balancing and not really focused on my legs flailing about. The next thing that's worth considering when practicing a new move is if it is an asymmetrical move, like this elbow lever is, where I'm leaning on the right or the left arm, it's worth practicing both arms to see which you feel most comfortable in. Here I'm trying with my left arm and it feels quite good, so at this point I feel like I'm at the same level with both arms. It's also worth noting that the position of the P-bars varies from person to person. Everybody's going to be different heights, have lengths of arms and legs compared to their torso and vice versa, so please make sure that you play around with the P-bars and find the most comfortable way of doing this for you. So I said I was same on both sides. However, when I go back to practicing with my right elbow, I notice that suddenly the ability to move my hips a little bit higher up to look a little bit more aesthetic is easier on the right side. So this is the side that I decide to practice more. I do go back to try left, but it's suddenly not working anymore. I'm back to looking constipated. Never mind, I'm just going to make this elbow lever work for me. I guess my body has decided that the right elbow is best, so I'll stick to that. Now just watch where I put my elbow. Notice when I go too down my torso, I can't seem to balance. But if I move my elbow slightly higher up into the middle of my torso, suddenly I get my balance back again and it feels more comfortable. As I'm only using one elbow, it's really important that it's in the center of my torso and just above my pelvic bone, where there's no bony prominence and my stomach acts almost like a pillow for my elbow. However, I must stress it's quite important that you keep your core tense. If you relax your core completely, not only will you not balance, but your elbow will dig so deep inside your torso that you may even vomit. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but I did feel like vomiting at certain points. Okay, once you start balancing comfortably with your legs bent, the next thing is to try and focus on lifting up the hips and straightening the legs. As you can see, I lift up the hips ever so slightly but lose my balance on this particular clip and have to come down. I then decide I'm getting better enough that I might make a video and post it, so I turn on the HD. High resolution, no pressure. As I learn to balance, I start ever so gently lifting my hips by tensing my core and tensing my legs. Now they are still a little bit bent in this clip, but I try my best to straighten them. Each time I do, I end up losing my balance, so it's just a matter of practice. I tense my core by doing a posterior pelvic tilt. This is where you want to tilt your pelvis to the front of your body. So with doing the elbow lever, this would mean tilting your pelvis towards the floor in order to almost create a slight curve and cup your elbow that's digging into your torso. Your wrists do take a killing here, so make sure they're really warmed up before you even try. Okay, and then one of the last steps to master once you're comfortable in this position is trying to lift up the front of your body, the torso, to get that nice straight line. I can always be straighter, but the first thing I do is avert my gaze to something higher up so that eventually my head will tilt a little bit higher up and hopefully the body will follow. I'm definitely not in a straight line here, and I've got the rest of my life to improve this move. There's only so much you can improve within 10 minutes of learning it, but I'm pretty happy with how far I've come. Once again, to recap, you want your elbow in the middle of your torso, but just above your pelvic bone so it cushions it and allows you to balance. Then you want to try and focus on your legs and hips, posterior pelvic tilt, lifting your legs up, trying to straighten them, straddle them to enable you to balance. Once you've got that, you want to try and avert your gaze up, which will help your shoulders and the upper half of your body be a little bit higher. You can also eventually try to put your legs together to make the elbow lever look more aesthetic. That would also be a progression to what you're seeing at the moment because it's much harder to have your legs together. If you notice, as I'm getting more confident with this move, even though my legs are still straddled, they're not as far apart as when I initially began. And then the ultimate progression to this move, which I didn't get to in the 10 minutes, is eventually I want to remove that other arm. In my case, the left arm, which is helping me balance currently, but soon it will be stretched out in front of me and I'll really look like the real life Superwoman. And that's how you too can go from this to this in 10 minutes. Good luck, let me know how it goes, drop me a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.